Welcome back, everyone, to the Futlife Tv Podcast. World Cup's over. 4 more years for another one. But the season is back. Oh, what a way to start as well. Brilliant games, brilliant goals. Let's get right into it, starting with the Premier League, of course. Premier League, Man United beat Leicester 2-1. Tottenham beat Newcastle 2-1. Bournemouth beat Cardiff 2-0. Crystal Palace beat Fulham 2-0. Chelsea beat Huddersfield 3-0. Watford beat Brighton 2-0. Wolves tied Everton 2-2. Liverpool beat West Ham 4-0. Southampton Burnley 0-0. Man City beat Arsenal 2-0. Wow. What a way to get back into the Premier League. Of course, Premier League and League One are the only two leagues I've started. Next weekend it's going to be officially the start of LALIGA, BUNDESLIGA, and SERIE. But what an entertaining weekend of football. Just beautiful games. Manchester United and Leicester City. That game was brilliant. That game was pretty good. Man U played their same style. POGBA had a good game. They were kind of fortunate to beat Leicester, in my opinion. I think that Leicester played well. They just couldn't finish. At times, they had some opportunities. They should have put it away. I thought De Gea had some nice saves. And just Man U didn't look exciting to me. I know it's the first game back. Most of the players were at World Cup. They're all coming back kind of tired, still not into it yet. First game, so, it's expecting too much for them to go full out. But they did have the same tactics, basically. Played the Mourinho style. Nothing really changed, apparently. So, very important 3 points, in my opinion, against Leicester. They had to get the win, which they did. I mean, they fought through it. They battled it out, and they got the W at the end. So, Man U, Pogba and Man U have a weird relationship going on at the moment, especially Pogba and Mourinho. Pogba wants out. They want him to stay. Mourinho made him captain for the game, so maybe they're telling him, hey, we want you more involved. We were counting on you. We're depending on you. You're the guy here. So, will that change his mind? I think that he'll still want out. And there's rumors that he's talking to Barcelona, and they've already reached a personal agreement, but Man U does not want to sell, which for good reasons. I mean, of course, you don't want to sell if you're Man U, especially since this transfer window, there was not much going on for them. So you want to keep your top players. Transfer window is not closed yet. There's still like 20 days left. So there's plenty of time to buy and sell. But it just doesn't really make sense if you're Manchester United to sell Pogba, because then you have to replace him. Who are you going to replace him with? Are you going to do a switch deal where you bring on Rakitic and maybe, get some money or something? But the thing is, Pogba is young. He's pretty young. Rakitic is about 30, 31, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know who will be getting the better deal here. I mean, I think Barcelona will be getting the better deal. But anyways, Man U have too much riding on Pogba. They really depend on him, and they do not want to let him go. But that does not mean transfer won't happen. If Pogba wants to leave, he keeps dropping his little hands, saying stuff like, I don't want to speak what I feel because I'm going to get banned or I'm going to get fined. By who? By Manchester United? By, who? Anyways, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And Mourinho, he did complain a little bit about not having the transfer market that he wanted, not getting the players that he really wanted this summer. But, I mean, he always does anyway. But to be fair, this summer was a pretty slow one for Manchester United. I mean, they brought on Fred, which, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Fred's anything special. He's a good player, but I don't think he's the target Mourinho was hoping for. But anyways, we'll see what happens. I mean, they do have Lukaku, they do have Martial, they have Alexis Sanchez, they have Rashford. They have a lot of players up there that can score goals. But the thing is, again, going back to the Mourinho style, in my opinion, Mourinho style is the reason why Man U is not playing as good. I think the best game that Man U played was against Manchester City last game. They played, I believe it was 3-2, where they were down 2-0, come back second half and play, and won 3-2. But my point is, Manchester United actually played that game. Second half, they were free. They played. They were attacking. They weren't playing a Mourinho style. And I think Mourinho probably just told the guys, go play. Go do whatever you can. Just attack. Just attack. Do whatever you feel. And I think they did that. They have the quality. So I think that Mourinho just needs to basically let those dogs off the leash and let them go wild, you know? They have the talent. I mean, Lukaku, Rashford, Alexis, Martial. I mean, it doesn't stop. So, but anyways, Manchester United, hopefully as they go on, they'll get back into the groove and they can, you know, be contenders for the Premier League title. So, anyways, moving on. Chelsea and Sarri. Chelsea had that big drama and all that stuff going on with Conte and their new coach, and well, basically Conte was let go, and Sarri took his place, the old Napoli coach. But transfers were kind of a little weird. There's a lot of talks of Hazard leaving. There's a lot of talks of Willian leaving. Courtois left, of course. That's a big one there. Courtois left to Madrid. He had 1 year left on his contract. It made sense to sell him. He absolutely made it clear he is not going to sign. He's not going to renew a contract. He's not going to sign longer. So you let him go next summer for free, or you try to cash in and make some money off of him, which they did. They ended up getting some money off of him. I don't think it was anywhere near his worth, but he only has 1 year on his contract, so it was fair. But the replacement was hefty price. The Atletico Bilbao keeper that cost 71 million. That is a big number for a goalkeeper. And yeah, I know big numbers have been tossed around for goalkeepers like Alisson from Liverpool, but that is a hefty price to pay for a goalkeeper. And a goalkeeper that hasn't been under the pressure that he will be now. You know, he's still fairly young. He's a good goalie. He was great at Atletico Bilbao, but there was really no pressure, no expectations for him there. There was no, there's no Champions League play, big matches, title-winning matches, things like that. So that's a little risky, but he is a good goalie. So hopefully he'll get it together, and you know, good things will happen for him. He is a promising goalie. He is a talented keeper. He's young. So 71 million nowadays, I mean, it's a crazy amount, but maybe it's not that much. If you think about it, I mean, 71 million is just regular prices now. Everyone wants over 100 for just great players. Oh, man. Anyways. Courtois leaving to Madrid. He's made it known that he's wanted to leave for a while now. Because, his kids are in Madrid. And for some reason, he can't see his kids unless he goes to Madrid. So that was always a big issue, and he's always talked about it. But he didn't show up to training. He didn't report back when he was supposed to. Sarri wanted a one-on-one meeting, a face-to-face meeting with him, and he did not show up for that. Very disrespectful, in my opinion. Made the move to Madrid. First thing he does when he walks on, starts kissing the badge, and says, this is the first time I've kissed the badge because I'm home. Very disrespectful, in my opinion. For one, he's played for Atletico Madrid. And for two, he was at Chelsea for, 4 years or so? And I mean, you know, you can't leave being this disrespectful. You know, it's not like you had a bad time there. It's not like they treated you bad there. So I think he just should have had more respect leaving. But leaving, of course, it's a no-brainer for him. It was a good idea for him. And, who doesn't want to play for Madrid, right? Anyways, Hazard and Willian and Morata, 3 players that are expected to leave. But will they? Sarri's come out and said, nope, we expect him to stay. He's even said it's impossible for Hazard to leave. Willian, I think, wants out, but he's given the coach a chance. I think this coach he had a meeting with the players, and I don't think these 3 players are going to go anywhere unless, someone gives them a crazy deal, which, you never know. But I don't see them leaving. There's a lot of talks with Barcelona trying to buy Hazard, trying to buy Willian, but it's they have been playing. They're with the squad. They're with Chelsea. The talks are cooling down, and it looks more and more like they're gonna stay. So they probably will. Anyways, but Morata, they did want to do a deal with Inter Milan, do a swap deal with Icardi and Morata, but Inter does not want to let him go, especially when they actually have a chance of doing something in Serie next season. A very, very slim chance because Juventus just went a little crazy in the transfer market. So, I'm sure Inter is going to try to keep all their star players. And there are some star players, especially some World Cup players that are being looked at by some big clubs. But anyways, yeah, it looks like Hazard, Willian, Morata all will be staying put. They're all going to be staying at Chelsea. I think they're going to give Sarri a chance and see how it goes. But you never know. I believe Hazard has 2 years left on his contract. If things don't go his way this season, next summer is going to be tough because the price is going to get reduced and there will be teams interested. So, anyways, moving on. Oh, and Willian has stated several times Mourinho is the favorite coach I've had. Mourinho is the coach I like. And, Man U is heavily interested in him. So, I wouldn't be too surprised if he does end up at Manchester United at some point. They will have to pay good money for him. Chelsea does not want to sell him, especially for cheap. So, we'll see. But, anyways, Chelsea's game against Huddersfield, very exciting. They played great, and Hazard wasn't playing. They were missing some players, key players, but they still played very well. I think Chelsea will be a very dangerous threat. They are title contenders for sure. So, and the fact is, Chelsea will not be playing Champions League, and that's kind of a big big rest for them because they are competing against the teams that are going to be playing Champions League and other cups. They're going to be exhausted. That's a big factor. That's a big plus. So let's see if they can use that to their advantage. Anyways, another team that will not be playing in the Champions League is Arsenal. Arsenal did some shopping over the summer. Unai Emery came in, promised new things, promised changes. Unai Emery, in my opinion, has never been a world-class coach. So I don't know why Arsenal put so much faith in him. And it looked promising in the break, in the summer games, summer friendlies, the little friendlies matches that they were playing. Looked promising. Guys looked like they were enjoying themselves. They were winning games. They were playing well. Like I said, looked promising. First game, in my opinion, I wasn't convinced, though. I wanted to wait to the first game because it was against Manchester City. And I think that would have been, in my opinion, that was the first test. To really test Arsenal, to see if this is an Arsenal team that's really has changed, has improved, has woken up, basically. Wenger did leave. Emery came and is supposed to bring this new energy. So I wasn't convinced. I wanted to see the game against Man City, and I was right. They did not pass the test. Man City walked all over them. Man City had an easy time, I think. They could have had more goals. It could have been worse for them. But it is Man City, and it was the first real test for Arsenal. So, again, first game, you never know, but it was exciting games to get back to. But again, in my opinion, that was a test to see if Arsenal have really improved, have really changed, have really woken up. First test, boom, and they failed miserably. I know the coach is disappointed. I know the players were disappointed. But Man City played a hell of a game. Man City looked good. Man City looked good. And against Chelsea they looked very good too. Man City are, in my opinion, this season in the English Premier League, it's between Man City and Liverpool. That's my opinion. In my opinion, Liverpool and Man City, it's going to be between them who's going to win the Premier League. Liverpool looked very good, so did Man City, in my opinion. But before these games even started, I thought that it was going to be between Man City and Liverpool. That's just my opinion, Let us know what you think. Who's going to win the Premier League? Anyways, Man City looked very strong. Very strong. And again, I think it's between Man City and Liverpool this season. We'll see. All right, moving on. Tottenham. Man City actually transfer window before we move on. In the transfer window, they didn't do much either. They were pretty quiet. They were relatively quiet in the transfer window too. They didn't do much. So, and Pep was not complaining one bit about it. He said, we have a good team. Our team is good. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. All right, Tottenham, another team that had a terrible transfer window. Didn't have any luck in the transfer window was Tottenham. Everyone they bid for, they were unsuccessful of getting, and yeah, it didn't look good for them in the transfer window. They got no one basically, and I know they were trying to do some improvements. I mean, they have to. Tottenham is a team that can be serious contenders for titles, but I just don't think. I think they need more. They need more strength. They need better defenders. And I mean, it sucks because at big games, it seems like sometimes Harry Kane and those guys don't show up top. So I don't know. They're just always end up blowing it somehow for some reason. And I don't know. And I know they did want some players. They did want to make some improvements, but unfortunately, things did not go their way at all this transfer window. They had a horrible transfer window. They did not get anyone. But anyways, people that did get other teams in the Premier League that were pretty successful in the transfer window were Everton, Wolves, West Ham, Burnley. These teams, and a lot more teams. There was a lot of transfers going on in the Premier League. I mean, the Premier League, and still a lot of days left, so there's still going to be more to come. But so far, a lot of those teams that you wouldn't expect to do much did some serious buying. Now, West Ham were crushed by Liverpool, but that's a different story. Anyway, speaking of Liverpool, let's get into Liverpool. Liverpool, nice start for Liverpool, first of all, against West Ham, 4-0. Absolutely destroyed them. And West Ham was a team that you would think was going to do a lot better this season, especially with the purchases they've made. But Liverpool just made it look easy. Salah, Mane, those guys are incredible. They have serious talent up there, and they're a serious threat, and they're making it known. I mean, brilliant way to start the season. And like I said, I think Liverpool and Man City, they're the two favorites, in my opinion, to win the Premier League. It's between them two, and that's it. But yeah, they played great. The new goalie, Alisson, is very happy there. Everyone's happy there. Everyone's happy that he is there. And goalkeeper is something that they desperately needed, especially with Karius playing kind of iffy, you know. Let's just call it that. But, you know, what my main thing is, which Alisson did not come cheap. Alisson came at a hefty price as well. So, anyways, my main thing with Liverpool I'm so curious about is to see if Salah can keep the same form as last season this season. I would love to see it. He's an incredible player, in my opinion, and I think he can do it. He can absolutely do it. And I'm just curious to see if he can maybe even improve from what he did last season, if it's even possible. He had a fantastic season last season. So, yeah, I'm curious to see if he can keep the same form going this season, which by the start of it looks like he can. And Mane, of course, brilliant game for him as well. He's a great player, and I know he gets overshadowed by Salah, but he's a fantastic player. He really is good. And when he's not playing selfish, he's even better. So, yeah, Liverpool, serious contenders this season for everything. I mean, they're an absolutely incredible team. They look very good, and they're very exciting to watch. So, that's that. Oh, Premier League. But those teams, the top teams in the Champions League that are in the Premier League, they are going to have to do some serious work, you know, because, I mean, the Premier League last season in the Champions League was pretty disappointing, you know, and you want to see them do better, especially because, I mean, those teams are huge. Those are big teams. So, you know, Premier League is one of the best teams, if not the best league in the world. So you expect the top teams to do better in the Champions League. So I hope they make the right changes, and I hope they make the right changes to do better in the Champions League to push further. So hopefully the World Cup and how far England got will motivate them and push them up. We'll see. But I'm curious to see how the English Premier League teams are going to do in the Champions League. That'll be fun to watch. Especially City. I'm really curious to see how Manchester City will do in the Champions League. I think Pep is going to make some changes. He is going to approach the Champions League a little different. And I think the players now have a little more experience in the Champions League. Some of them haven't played Champions League before. So I think Man City is going to be is going to do decent in the Champions League. I'm curious to see how far they make it. So we'll see. All right, let's move on to some La Liga. La Liga has not started yet. La Liga is starting next week. But SUPERCOPA was on, and it was Barcelona versus Sevilla for the final. SUPERCOPA, usually the team that wins the league and the team that wins the cup play against each other. But since Barcelona won both, they played Sevilla. So they were the finalists. Anyways, Barcelona beat them, but it was not an easy game. Sevilla played very well. It was a great match. It was exciting. And in my opinion, a silly penalty given at the end. But they could not put it in. So that cost Sevilla the game. And Barcelona are SUPERCOPA champions. That's a brilliant way to start the season. So next week, the season starts for them. And I'm sure they're going to have lots of confidence going into the season, especially with the cup already won. Anyways, La Liga, that was a SUPERCOPA that just happened. The big news in La Liga is Ronaldo leaving Madrid. Ronaldo leaving Madrid and played his first game for Juventus against the B-side team, scored a goal. And but yeah, he left Madrid for $100 million. He did drop hints. Not dropped hints. He straight up said, I'm leaving, basically, after the Champions League win last season. So it was no surprise that he left. It was surprise that he went to Serie A. I thought Man U or PSG would be his destination, but Serie A, that's where he landed. And, it makes sense. Serie A is easier. They're not as tough. He can take it a little easier. They can sub him, rotate him more, because Juventus will destroy that league anyway. No brainer. And yeah, that he can focus more on Champions League now. And I think that's the goal for Juventus as well, is to bring in those goals, those scoring, the goal machines like Ronaldo to get them the Champions League win. Bonucci is back as well, so that's exciting for Juventus. But that's the big news in La Liga, is Ronaldo has finally left after so many years of Madrid, basically being the face of Madrid for so many years now. It's hard to see him in a different team jersey. I mean, it's shocking to a lot of fans. I know a lot of fans thought he was just complaining to get a new deal, but no, he's left. It's gone. He's done. And it's a good move for him. I think it's a smart move. You're in the easier league. You don't have to work as hard. His age is getting older. I don't care how fit he is and how great of shape he is. He is a little older, and age will catch up to you. And recently, if you look at his game, especially in the Champions League final, he hasn't been the same Ronaldo that he used to be. He did pick it up for a little bit and score a ton of goals in a little period, but at first he wasn't doing anything. And you can't. If you're Real Madrid, that's not a bad deal to let him go. But they have no replacement for him, really. And who they want to replace him is Bale, basically. They're saying we don't need to go out. Bale is the replacement. Bale's our guy. Bale's our star. Bale can do this. What I'm calling bullshit on is the fact that they're putting that much faith on Bale, a person who gets injured all the time. Ronaldo was fit almost every game. You got to remember, first of all, it's hard to replace a player like Ronaldo. Is a fantastic player, but to put all that faith to Bale is a little silly in my opinion, especially when you know how often he gets injured and how easy he gets injured. But Madrid has said that, nope, we are not interested in buying. We want to put our faith in Bale. He's the replacement for Ronaldo. And again, remember, they have Isco, Asensio. They have some good attacking players, that can score some goals and Bale, Benzema, they have some talent. But they have been talking to Hazard and Icardi. There is, for a while now, they have been negotiating to bring Icardi in to replace Ronaldo. And hasn't been going down well. Inter does not want to sell. They do not want to sell. And Icardi has mentioned in interviews that he has no interest in joining Real Madrid. So we'll see. But again, Lewandowski, he's not going apparently. They're wanting him. Icardi doesn't look like he's making a move. Hazard looks set to be staying at Chelsea. So who will replace Ronaldo at Real Madrid? I know they have good players, but you can't put all the faith in Bale. Bale will get injured. And he's out. Then what? Then it's going to be between Benzema, Isco, Asensio. If Benzema is in terrible form like he was most of the season last season, you're in trouble. Your whole attacking and goal scoring is dependent on Asensio and Isco. There's still plenty of time left to buy players, and I'm sure they are desperate to land someone big to replace Ronaldo, even though they say they will not spend that much money on the player anymore. We'll see. I mean, they really haven't. If you look, the last big money they spent was on James, I believe. So they really haven't recently. I mean, Isco, Asensio, those guys, they were deals. They were a steal. Both of them were. So, I mean, yeah. So we'll see what they do. But I'm pretty sure they are desperate for a big replacement for Ronaldo. They can't be putting this much faith on Bale. Which I'm nothing against Bale. He's a great player. Nothing against Bale. But given his fitness and his seasons and how often he gets injured, you can't put all your faith in Bale. You couldn't Ronaldo because of his fitness. He was hardly ever injured. So, anyway. And yeah, that's that for Real Madrid. We'll see what they do, though. Let's see what they do. I'm curious to see who's going to replace Ronaldo. Hazard was the big name that was going, which makes sense. I mean, it really makes sense. He would be a perfect replacement. He's a fantastic player. Hazard is absolutely a world-class player. He really is. And I think he would be a big improvement for Real Madrid. So, but who knows? We'll see. Anyways, another transfer talk before we move on to Real Madrid. Before we move on from Real Madrid, the big name that joined Real Madrid was Courtois from Chelsea, and we know that Real Madrid have been looking for either him or De Gea for a while now. For some reason, they do not like Navas. I don't know what it is that they have against Navas, but they do not want this guy there. They do not want him. They do not trust him. They've been constantly trying to buy De Gea. They've been constantly trying to buy Courtois. And it's just, Navas hasn't been doing bad. I mean, a lot of the Madrid fans are speaking about it too. Like, hey, Navas has been great. Why are we trying to get rid of Navas? Why are we pushing him out? But they don't like Navas for some reason. Real Madrid does not want him there, apparently. They got Courtois. Obviously, he's going to be starting. I don't know if they're going to be letting Navas play the Copa del Rey matches or how that's going to work out. But Navas has came out and said, I have as much desire to leave Madrid as dying. So he doesn't want to leave. He stated it several times that he doesn't want to leave. He's always said, I love it here. I'm going to stay here. I want to stay here as long as I can. But you almost feel bad for the guy. I mean, the way they just always are out looking for goalkeepers, and publicly, when they have a pretty good goalie, in my opinion. So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if someone puts some good money up for Navas. So, anyways, yeah, Courtois going to Madrid, finally getting his dream move. Good for him, but it's bad for Navas because, I mean, Courtois is going there to start. He wants to start. He's not going there to sit on the bench. That's for sure. So, unless he does horrible and is in absolute horrible form, he's starting. So, yeah. But, anyways, we'll see. Oh, man. Moving on to Barcelona. Barcelona, again, they won the SUPERCOPA. Congratulations to them. And Barcelona have been pretty busy this transfer window. They had the world tour and everything, but the transfer window has been a little crazy. Alex Vidal back to Sevilla for $8.5 million, which that to me, Alex Vidal is not a bad player at all. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good right back. I think that $8.5 million is a slap in the face, and I think Barcelona should have kept him. But I don't know. For some reason, they just wanted to give him back to Sevilla, and they just didn't want him there, which is sad to see. And they played against his old team. He came in and played. He's the one that got the penalty, and it was kind of sad to see him play against his old team. He just made the move like 2 weeks ago. But anyways, yeah, that was a surprise move for me. I didn't think that they were going to sell Alex Vidal, especially because they don't have another right back. It's Semedo, and that's it. I mean, I know people want to say Sergio Roberto. He's not a right back. He's not that good being a right back. I really think he's an overrated player, period, man. I think that people put too much faith in Sergio Roberto, and I think he really is overrated in my opinion. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a good player. I think he's an overrated player. I think that, in my opinion, I mean, you're buying all these midfielders. You're trying to get these other midfielders. You're going after POGBA. You just bought Arturo Vidal. You need a right back. You don't have a right back. It's just Semedo, and that's it. And Sergio Roberto is a backup right back. I mean, they could probably make 40 to 50 million from Sergio Roberto. So why not sell him and keep Vidal? Vidal's only 28 as well. He's not that old. So you can get at least 4 more years from the guy. But I don't know. I think that since Sergio Roberto came from the club academy, it just made more sense to keep him maybe. But I mean, there's no other right backs. It's just Semedo, and that's it. You have to have another right back. And I don't like Sergio Roberto playing that right back. So I don't know. Not saying anything bad against Sergio Roberto. But anyways, Alex Vidal sold back to Sevilla. Yeremina sold to Everton. Andre Gomes loaned to Everton. And they bring in Arthur. They bring in Malcolm. They bring in Lenglet. They bring in Arturo Vidal. Rafinha's back in the squad. Munir's back in the squad. How long are they going to stay there? Who knows? I mean, the transfer window is going to be open for another 20 days. Like I said, it's a long time. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that squad's going to work out. But so far, they've been fairly busy in the transfer market with buying and selling. So, Yeremina I was surprised that they didn't loan him. They just straight out sold him. Maybe they saw something that made him have no interest in him whatsoever. But, I mean, he's very young. He's good at scoring goals. He's great in the air. He's a big player. He's not a bad defender. And, I mean, he could be promising in the future. So I thought that he would get loaned. Andre Gomes would get sold. But it was the other way around. So, yeah, that was kind of surprised about that. But, anyways, yeah, Arturo Vidal came and made his debut today, or at the final. Came in second half and didn't do bad. But I'm curious to see how he does in the game. He is a little older. He's dealt with 2 knee surgeries now. And the price wasn't that cheap either. So we'll see how he does. I'm curious to see how he does. And another person who I was disappointed today in, it was Luis Suarez. I mean, he has been pretty disappointing recently, in my opinion. You expect more from him. I know I expect more from him. He's a world-class striker. And it's sad when he goes on these runs that he can't score. I mean, in my opinion, he had a horrible game today. He did not have a good game today. And you definitely expect more from him. And it is the first match. And maybe that's the case. But hopefully that's the case. But he does tend to go on these horrible forms. And, I mean, towards the end of last season, he was in pretty bad form too. And, yeah, unfortunately, Suarez is just not on target. Couldn't get on target. Hopefully it'll change. Hopefully it'll kick back on, because you need Suarez scoring goals. If Barcelona want to challenge for all 3 trophies, every trophy there is, then they definitely need Suarez scoring goals. Another person who they need scoring goals, which did absolutely in that final brilliant goal, was Dembele. Hopefully he can keep that form going. Hopefully he can score more goals like that. Dembele had a brilliant goal. Beautiful shot from outside the box. And that goal was the winner that ultimately won them the match. But anyways, you want to see Dembele stay in good form. You want to see Suarez get back in good form. World-class players here. And that would be a dangerous team. Dangerous front three as well. Dembele, Suarez, Messi. Then right behind them you have Coutinho, Rakitic, Busquets. And behind them you have Jordi Alba, Umtiti, Piqué, Semedo, and then Ter Stegen in goal, of course. And I mean, of course, on the bench for midfield, you have Arturo Vidal, you have Rafinha, you have Sergio Roberto if you need. For defense, you have Lenglet now. So I mean, these aren't bad players at all. These are fantastic players. Barcelona definitely has a team that can compete in every trophy this season. But it's up to the players. I mean, the players have to put their hearts out. They have to play well. Suarez has to score again, has to start finishing, and that's the key. I mean, so we'll see. But Barcelona look very promising. I think Barcelona are serious contenders for the treble this season. So we'll see. All right. Sevilla had a great game against Barcelona. They didn't play bad at all, and they had a chance to tie it up, but couldn't put it away at the end. Crucial by Ter Stegen. Fantastic save. I mean, it was a horrible penalty, though. It was an absolute horrible penalty. The only way that goes in if the keeper drives the other way. But that penalty was absolutely horrible. But anyways, Sevilla's form, I mean, if they can play like that, and I'm sure they're going to improve as well, but if they can play that hard against other teams in La Liga, in whatever, any other cup they can, I think they can be serious contenders too. I mean, they're a very good team. They're not a bad team at all. If you look at their players, they have a good squad. And they just brought in Andre Silva from AC Milan on loan to help out up front. So they're an exciting team to watch. I mean, Sevilla, they haven't been a bad team. I mean, they did win the Europa League, like 2-3 times in a row. But this season, I think they're going to do well. They're not going to do bad, I don't think. I'm curious to see how they're going to do in La Liga especially. So we'll see. And Atletico Madrid is another team who looks fantastic and looks like they could do some serious damage in Champions League, Copa del Rey, and La Liga. So curious to see how they do as well. They managed to keep Griezmann. Now they have a fantastic attacking power. And, we'll see how they do. And Simeone is a great coach. They have a great keeper, great defense, great midfields. I'm curious to see how they do. So, yep. That's pretty much it in La Liga. I mean, so far, that's how it is. It's been pretty exciting so far in the transfer market, the news, everything. And I cannot wait for La Liga to start this weekend. So, we'll see. Moving on, Serie A. Serie A starts next weekend as well. Again, the big news is Ronaldo going to Juventus, of course. Very exciting. But Another big transfer in my opinion was Bonucci going back to Juventus. Bonucci left on bad terms with Allegri, and was not expecting him to return to Juventus, especially while Allegri is still coach. But he did. He's back, and he wants the fans were booing him. He wants to win the fans' hearts back. We'll see if it works. We'll see how it works. But I was surprised on that move. And, Serie A, I mean, this season I thought, well, since Napoli did so well last season, Inter is improving, AC Milan's improving, this is going to be a fun Serie A match. Then they go and buy Ronaldo, then they go and do all this, and I'm like, Juve's going to win again, obviously. But we'll see. You never know. Another surprise move was Higuain leaving Juventus for AC Milan. I mean, not really surprising considering I don't think Ronaldo really likes Higuain. Really doesn't like playing with him up there, in my opinion. I think that's the main reason why Higuain was pushed out and sold to Napoli in the first place. But I I didn't know how those two were going to get along when I heard the news. And then, of course, you hear right after that, Higuain sold to AC Milan. So, yep, we'll see what happens. We'll see if we'll see how much improvement Higuain brings to AC Milan. Of course, in Serie A, he's a scoring machine. So, we'll see. Maybe he's what AC Milan's really needed, you know? And definitely, in my opinion, is. I mean, AC Milan is definitely in desperate need of a striker. So, we'll see if they got the striker they wanted. And yeah, Inter Milan's been in the market. Inter Milan's looking pretty interesting. I know they've been desperately trying to land Modric, which is very tough to do, considering how well he's done in the World Cup, considering that Madrid are a huge team, and if he has an option to play for Madrid, I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. And Madrid really want him too, really want to keep him too. They have no desire to sell him. So that'll be tough for Inter Milan to get Modric. And another team who I'm curious to see is Napoli. Napoli, of course, Ancelotti is there. Napoli, I think they're going to be in serious trouble. I don't think they're going to do nearly as good as they did last season, but we'll see. I mean, it starts next week, and you never know. That's the beautiful part about football. You never know. So, we'll see. I'm curious about Serie A. Last season, Serie A was better than it has been in many years, and it was very exciting. But this season, I'm curious to see if they can keep the excitement going and maybe even improve on it. So, let's see. We will see. All right. Let's get into some Bundesliga first. Bundesliga, I mean, nothing much going on. Starts next week, and Bayern's looking exciting. They look like, of course, they're going to take it again. I want to see how Bayern's going to do in the Champions League. That's my main thing. Champions League. Oh, before we go to Bundesliga, let's go back to Serie A. I'm very curious to see how Juventus is going to do in the Champions League. Juventus have been doing some improvements, made some major buys this summer. So, and that's mainly for Champions League. 100% their goal is to win the Champions League. And that's why they brought in Ronaldo. Not only that he has a big name, he can bring in a lot of money, a very exciting player, a lot of goals, but they want that Champions League trophy. They really do. And for the past few years, they've been getting a little close to it. So I'm really curious to see how far Juventus is going to go. It's exciting. So we'll see. We will see. They definitely got the players they needed to do well in the Champions League. So we'll see. All right, Bundesliga. Bundesliga, in my opinion, Bayern's going to take it again. Bayern looks great. The new coach, players love the coach. The coach loves the players. They all have the confidence. James is staying. Thiago is wanted by Real Madrid big time, but looks like he might be staying. It's too early to tell. But in my opinion, Bayern's going to win it. Bayern's going to win it. So, yeah. And Bayern is set to lose a few players maybe, but Boateng was one of the main players that was basically on the verge to joining Manchester United, but didn't end up happening, and now it looks like Boateng will stay. So, we'll see there, but yeah, Boateng is going to stay. If Thiago can stay, that'll be great for them as well. And you have James, you have Thiago, and hopefully Ribery and Robin can stay fit. That'll be an exciting team to watch, you know. So, we'll see. But in my opinion, Bundesliga, Bayern again, no-brainer. Dortmund's chances, I think Dortmund doesn't have very much chance of winning. So, hope they do. I like Dortmund. I think they're not a bad team, but it's just not the same Dortmund they were a few years back. And it's sad to see because, all their good players, they're always constantly losing their big players. I mean, you can't blame anyone there. I mean, that's what happens, you know. So, anyways, moving on to some League One. League One, what a way. And League One started, actually. So, in League One, we had PSG. What a way to start for PSG. What a way to start for Neymar. New coach, Tuchel. And I'm sure he loved it today. Marseille beating Toulouse 4-0. Monaco beating Nantes 3-1. Nimes beating Angers 4-3. Lille beating Rennes 3-1. Dijon beating Montpellier 2-1. Reims beating Nice 1-0. Saint-Etienne beating Guingamp 2-1. Lyon beating Amiens 2-0. Strasbourg beating Bordeaux 2-0. And PSG beating Caen 3-0. A of course, no-brainer. PSG's winning it again this season. PSG's got a fantastic squad. And, hey, they hit the ground running, apparently. Scoring in the first goal, Neymar, 10 minutes into the game. Brilliant goal for him. I mean, great goal for him. Great confidence for the coach. Great confidence for the team. But Champions League is where it counts for this team and for this coach. As you all know, every cup in France is not enough. Champions League is what's demanded. If you cannot bring a Champions League, on to the next coach. And that's how it is over there. It's tough, so we'll see. But in my opinion, this year is very good for them. I mean, Mbappe, full of confidence, fantastic player. Neymar, full of confidence, fantastic player. Excuse me. But I'm curious to see how they do in the Champions League. Cavani did not have a bad World Cup. Cavani is full of confidence. So we'll see. I mean, this is a new coach. Great coach, too. Tuchel is a great coach, in my opinion. He did great in Dortmund. I was very surprised when they let him go. But exciting season for PSG. Looks like they're going to be keeping mostly all their players. Pastore went to Roma. But, I mean, other than that, they've kept all the big players. And I'm really curious to see how they're doing in the Champions League. Because that's the only thing that counts for this team. Champions League. That's it. So we'll see. Neymar, again, great form, and Mbappe and all those players, once they're all playing together again, get things going, they're going to be serious contenders for that Champions League title. But what hurts them, as I always said, is the fact that they have no competition in that league. In League One, there is no competition for them. They're just way too strong for that league. So we'll see. Other than that, not much going on there, and we'll see what happens next week. And Champions League is what's important. And Champions League is what I'm curious to see who wins this season, because a lot of teams are looking very promising and very strong. All right, that's it. It's our show. So that happened this weekend. That's all that has happened this weekend. Thank you all for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, please do so to Futlife TV on YouTube, Futlife TV on iTunes, Futlife TV on iCloud. And if you haven't, follow us on social media, do so. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Futlife TV. We do some giveaways as well, so that'll be fun. And we are going to do some giveaways this season as well. And we're going to have some fun this season. We will do some cool videos. We'll have some cool giveaways and keep it interesting this season. And again, that's pretty much all that happened this weekend and so far in this big teams and big leagues. Thank you all for joining us again. And next week, we will see you again. We will bring you more results, more news. Next week, all the leagues are going to be back on. A lot of excitement. I'm very excited for it. I cannot wait for it. And we're going to see you next week again. Thank you all. See you later.